If you have been wondering how to heal your past, you'll find a solution today. I'm Dr. Katja Rusanen, spiritual counselor and best-selling author, and today I'm joined by my dear friends Antonia Van Becker and Greg Lee, who founded Self-Health Institute in the mid-90s to empower healers, coaches, entrepreneurs, and business owners to turn problems that block their success into golden opportunities. Their signature CoreTalk Holistic Therapy guides their clients toward successful outcomes by asking simple questions and getting life-changing answers. They love helping people get past overwhelm, procrastination, self-doubt, and chronic health issues so they can have the life, business, and impact they so deeply desire. So, welcome, Antonia and Greg. It's so great to have you here.
We're so happy to be with you and your lovely summit. So good to be with you always.
Thank you. And you have such a fascinating topic that you will be sharing healing your past and discovering how your body holds the key to healing. So, this is something, of course, as you know, I work as well helping people to heal their past. But I just love how your method is focusing on the healing unresolved trauma through communicating, connecting with your body. And in this powerful session, for those who are new, as you will find out more about this core talk that helps to release those reactive patterns from the past adversity and reclaim your spiritual direction with practical steps to shift from fear-based energy-based strategies to empowered soul-aligned responses. So I can't wait to hear more. So Anthony and Craig, this stage is yours.
Thanks, Katya. And this is like our favorite topic ever to talk about, to think about, to feel into. How to work with the body to release all of these core issues of trauma, self-doubt, procrastination, all of those things.
Well, and the thing that's interesting and we like to talk to bodies. So as we're doing this holistic healing, we're taking cues from the body as far as what to do. Because what we've noticed in working with people is that sometimes when you're in that area where you feel kind of stuck, where you're kind of triggered by trying to get something done or doubting if you're doing the right thing, that's when it's a little bit difficult to figure it all out. So what we suggest at that point is to tap into your body's wisdom and begin to get answers from within, from an area that knows everything about you. It knows what happened in the trauma. It also knows how it's affecting you now. So we're gonna really talk from that point of view of our body has the answers.
But we didn't always know that. And how many of you guys out there have had a time when all of a sudden, you may be going on pretty well. Maybe you're in a job that was okay. I mean, it did good work, but it wasn't totally aligned with what your deepest feelings are, right? And that's where Greg and I were back in as a young family back in.
It was 1992.
Yeah,
And
he's the numbers guy.
this was just a few years before we started our healing business. And I'd gotten back from a business trip abroad, and we were getting ready to go on vacation. And it was going to be really fun. I was in incredible shape. At 92, I was 34. But I had some gastrointestinal problems that were really kind of a bummer. And it went on and on. And after 6 months, I'd gone to specialists. I'd taken all kinds of weird drugs and had all these bizarre tests done. And my doctor told me, Greg, there's nothing medically wrong with you. It was bizarre though, because I had just had diarrhea for 6 months and I'd lost 40 pounds.
Yikes.
Whoa. So I knew that I had to really take responsibility for myself. So I left the doctor's office that day. I threw the medication that I'd been taking in the garbage. I drove off And I was starving all the time. So I stopped at a Whole Foods. It was actually a brand new Whole Foods in Palo Alto, California. And as I was walking through the bread and pastry aisles and that wafting smell, I ran into a healer that I'd known for years. And I said, I've been meaning to come and see you. And she looked me straight in the eyes and she said, I know your pancreas is really in trouble. And I think it was something that Antonia and her mom and some
Yeah,
others.
I was going to say, because previously my mom and I had been talking kind of behind his back and saying, oh my gosh, he's so sick. What's going to happen? Could he possibly have undetected pancreatic cancer? Because he was starting to look so gaunt and tired.
So I went and I saw her. She did a 90-minute energy healing session on me. She talked to my body. She asked about the metabolics of all my digestion, asked if I was making bile and all of the, stomach acids. She kind of figured out some of the things I wasn't doing correctly.
Hmm.
She ran some energy in my body. And after that 90-minute session, I got off the table and I had no symptoms at all. The
Hmm.
diarrhea was completely gone and I didn't ever have it again. So I was really intrigued, so much that a couple of years later, we took her certification program. We started to apprentice with her. We did thousands of hours of work with
Hmm.
her. We actually started teaching her certification program. And that was the beginning of our business in 95. And here we are 30 years later, just loving working with bodies, being able to talk to bodies and get that real inside scoop of what's happening that the body's trying to tell us through the way we feel and maybe the limitations that we might be having in the moment that we want to heal, right?
Yeah. And so I just want to point out, because some of you might be saying out there, wow, that was really amazing healing. And it was almost shocking for us how fast and incredible that was. And it came about because of a psychic and energetic interaction that Greg had with someone overseas.
I basically got jumped energetically.
Right. And so that is one kind of a thing, an energetic happening that can cause a serious chronic issue, chronic disease. It can cause depression or different, how you feel. But I wanted to point out also a different kind of manifestation that's all about how the body holds trauma. And so, just a couple months before this happened to Greg, I was actually pregnant with our second daughter, and I was 8 months pregnant. I went out and I was raking some leaves, getting ready for autumn and cleaning up for the baby and everything. And I got a blister on my finger, on my thumb. And I didn't pay any attention to it like most things back then. And I just kept on going, had to go to work. I was still working before my maternity leave. But I woke up the next morning and I was like, wow, my hand, I can't move it very well. And okay. So I kept ignoring it. Kind of, I went about my morning. I had a doctor's appointment because I had bronchitis. Now, I had had chronic bronchitis and pneumonia, getting it 2 or 3, 4 times a year for years. I also had chronic IBS and stomach issues for decades, actually. But I never knew why those things were happening. But I pretty much, got over whatever the symptoms were and kept going, just kept working, kept, cleaning up the yard, cleaning up the kids, all of that stuff, working full, 40, 60, 70 hours a week. So throughout that morning, that autumn, I started feeling progressively more dizzy and not really feeling like myself. So I thought, I'll just go to my doctor's appointment for this bronchitis early. And then I could ask him about why I'm feeling so bad. And so I got in there and I had my appointment. We chatted about the antibiotics I was on because of the pneumonia, the bronchitis. And then I said, and there's something with my hand. I said, I don't know what's going on. And he said, roll up your sleeve. And so I rolled up my sleeve And I saw that running up my arm was a red streak. And it went all the way to my elbow and was half the way to my armpit. Now, what I knew from doing a lot, I read a lot when I was a kid and all sorts of things, is that when blood poisoning gets, the red streak is all about blood poisoning, right? When it gets to your armpit, it goes straight to your heart and then you die. And he yelled out to the nurse. He's like, all of a sudden, there was a ton of people in the room. I was having, antibiotic shots and IV. And then he sent me home with another 2 or 3 antibiotics, stronger ones. And as I walked out the door of the hospital there, I put my hand on my 8-month-old baby there, and I thought, oh my gosh, this could have had dire effects on not just on me and my body, certainly, but that of my baby and our whole family. And it was really then that I was so shocked. And I wish I could say that I made a decision to take, more responsibility. I knew I had to make a change to safeguard myself, but I just went back to work. I kept working and I got better. We were fine. Not many months after that, Greg had his issues, and that's when it was kind of like, oh my gosh, this is serious. We really need to look at what are these things that are causing, for me, this chronic illness and the IBS and the pneumonia and stuff. And while Greg, we figured out after years of doing CoreTalk, learning it, certifying it, and then having hundreds to thousands of clients, is that these energetic, whether they're manipulations or the trauma and our energetic response to that trauma that happens when we're young, that's what happened to me with my uh, alcoholic parents and suicide in the family, that all of the grief and the anger and the fear, mostly from all of those years in that dysfunctional family, made it manifest into that chronic illness of the bronchitis and the IBS. And there's other trauma that occurs that can happen more regularly, can happen in a normal life, where all of a sudden you're sick because of something that happens in your day-to-day life that can also create this kind of chronic illness situation. Does that make sense? I hope it
Well,
does.
and what we started to realize in a certain way, because we were still young, but we started to feel like, maybe we're not so invincible. But even then, it took us years from that point to realize that doing something would actually help change what was happening physically, what was happening emotionally. And in beginning to do our energetic healing work, we started to realize, wow, the things that we're working on with people, they're connected to these adverse traumas that people have usually when they're children. And there's actually was a whole study that started right when we started our business in 95 called the Adverse Childhood Experience ACEs study. And it was really interesting. We had been doing our business for 20 years when we finally saw the data of that.
Yeah, and it's called How Adverse Childhood Experiences Affect Health Across a Lifespan. And it's called the ACEs for short, and it was with 17,500 people. And it showed the direct relationship between these adverse experiences that people have as children and the negative chronic health outcomes and mental health outcomes that occur over those lifespans. And as we kept working with CoreTalk and different energy healing modalities that we were checking out and seeing how they were, we really discovered how what we were doing was actually curing the effects of those adverse experiences in your present day life. So, when these adverse experiences happen when you're young, you get into these emotional patterns, maybe of fear. Most common is fear or anger. And we always ask our people, and ask yourself right now, where do you respond mostly from? Do you go to fear or do you go to anger? Those are the most two common places. And of course, if you go to fear, which is actually the big tamale here, right? That is when so many people have gone into fight and flight or freeze or fawn also, right? Those are kind of different behaviors. But the whole idea of being in fight and flight, having the bodily response of your corticosteroids raising up, all of a sudden your digestion doesn't work well. Sometimes your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, you're not able to sleep as well. All of those things signal fight and flight. And what we saw when we started working with people, and that we still see now across many, many people, is they have chronic fight and flight. So they are in that fight and flight that they may have grown up in. And then all of a sudden, that becomes a habitual pattern in their lives, so that they always have high blood pressure, right? Their digestion's not great. Maybe the way that they um, go to the bathroom isn't as optimal as they would like to, and that their body is in that fight and flight 24/7 their entire lives. And this can have huge uh, effects on, your health, your wealth, how you're able to do your business, how you're able to have relationships, and all huge number of patterns, behaviors, feeling, thoughts, and beliefs.
Yeah.
The other piece of it is if you go into anger, and this creates uh, those behaviors or those reactions of maybe explosive anger, maybe shutting down completely, not talking to people, shutting them out, feeling resentful, feeling the victim mentality. All of these kinds of behaviors can come from anger, some of them from fear as well. So really looking at when we call it the go-to emotion, what emotion do I go to when I am in a situation where it's not that easy? Where do I go? And what I kind of love with us, we have this difference where I had kind of the childhood adversity. He's had some big adversity, more in the moment across his life. And I have always gone to fear.
And I always went to frustration, which looked like shutdown because I felt like I couldn't take action. So it's so interesting. And what we're really talking about is what happens when you get triggered. When in the moment there's a response and you feel like, ooh, this feels really different. I know this feeling, but why can't I just think differently? Why can't I just tell myself I'm okay? I can feel different. Well, let's talk about that. What happens? And if any of you have that where you're feeling okay, and then all of a sudden somebody says something or something happens, or you feel like, ugh, I'm stuck, I can't take action,
Tech.
and or whatever it might be, not getting to the most important thing in your day that you're trying to do, and it triggers something. So what happens that makes it difficult for us to just think differently is it's actually the way we're thinking, because we have a
And feeling.
and feeling. But
Yeah.
it's really about the when we're watching and going through our day and we see an experience that looks like the adversity that happened in the first place, our brain says, ooh, I need to predict what's going to happen here so that you're not going to get in trouble, or so that it's not going to be dangerous for you, or so that you don't feel stuck, or so that you don't get attacked by the person who was the adversary in the past. And when your brain starts to predict that, it actually creates the situation. And all of a sudden, you're in it. You're feeling the emotions. You're having that fight and flight that Antonia was talking about. And you're actually in a metabolic state that's unhealthy. And it's the furthest thing from that beautiful spiritual growth that you want.
Right.
Right? So, how do we get back to where we're in balance? How do we start to kind of see the breadcrumbs that are coming from those traumas and adversities and leading to our current experience that we can then make sense of, that we can start to have healing that has a long-term effect where we start to release the effects of the trauma on our body and start to go into this very compassionate place for ourselves, knowing that those were difficult times and now can be different. So, what we know from thousands of hours of working with people and hearing their stories and then talking to their body is that their body has the answers. It knows the
Mhm.
problem, it knows when it started, and it knows how to address the difficulty that's happening right now. And it will take us to a place where it has that deep understanding and will tell us how to release the congestion that's physically and energetically causing our feeling that it isn't right. How can I go on? What do I do?
Mhm.
So we talk to the body.
How do we do
How do
that?
we do
What?
that? Ha.
How would you like to know how to do it? And what's so fun about it is there's many ways that you can talk to your body. And the cool thing about Core Talk, as we've learned bioenergy balancing, and then we've progressed and changed it into our modality, Core Talk, is that you can talk directly. You could talk to organs or bones. You can talk to your heart. You can talk to your whole body, mind, and spirit. In fact, that's what we call the body, is the super consciousness that resides in the body, the mind, and the spirit. And so when we tap into our body's wisdom, we are talking to that body, mind, and spirit. And the fun thing is that we also can talk separately to the brain. Because, like Greg was saying earlier, the brain has this beautiful prediction. It's a prediction machine, right? That it does 24/7. You can't hardly turn it off. It's going to tell you what is safe, what's not safe, and where you shouldn't go because it has never been there before. And so we can talk to the brain separately from the body. And one of my favorite sayings is that the brain wants to keep you safe and the body wants to fulfill your dreams.
Do you guys want to have safety or do you want to have dreams? And
It's a valid question, right?
it really
Because
is.
many people, because they feel comfortable, maybe they're in a situation that's not great, but they have a roof over their heads. They don't have to earn too much money. It's okay. But they know they are meant for something bigger, for something, that bigger purpose out there. And that's when we know by talking to the body and the brain that the brain's like, no, you're fine, guys, it's okay.
You have to just
Just
stay where you are. It's easier that way because then we don't get into adversity,
for trouble.
right? We don't have to step out of our comfort zone.
Right. But the body says,
I got you.
hey,
Let's
baby,
go.
let's go. Let's move towards your dreams and what you believe is your purpose here on life. And that's what we're really all about, right? The summit, the beautiful spiritual summit that Katja has built here is following your spiritual path, following your purpose here on this earth, in this earth school that's here teaching us what we need to do to grow and further move along with that divine purpose that we're here to to serve out.
Mm.
And so that's why we love to talk to the body, and we do it by talking directly to the body consciousness and getting a response by muscle testing, applied kinesiology, or we teach people how to use a pendulum to get yes and no answers from the body. And here, my usual yes is a circle, and pendulum can body say no. And it goes back and forth, and that's my usual no. So then we'll ask a question, and we have four questions we ask at the beginning of every CoreTalk session to make sure that your body and your consciousness, your energetic field is all current, present, and accounted for.
So why would we want to address the traumas that have held us back in the
Oh,
past?
I don't want to talk
I
about
don't want to
them.
talk about it. It
Oh,
brings up so many bad memories and things.
difficult.
So the question to ask is, and the realization is really when I grow and I move towards my dreams and I'm on a spiritual path of growth, is it sometimes going to be uncomfortable? Are there going to be times when I and the interesting part of it is the discomfort usually comes before you actually take the action. So the discomfort is what's going to happen? How am I going to deal with this? What if they don't like me? What if I don't get the results that I want?
What if I'm not good enough?
What if I'm not good enough?
Oh,
What if I made the wrong decision? What if people aren't going to like me?
what if I said the wrong thing?
What if I don't seem very spiritual in the way that I address what other people are talking about?
Right? Has anybody had any of those thoughts coming up when you're going out to do something new, to be on a summit or give a talk or even write and send out an email?
Or maybe you have that thing where I've taken a lot of steps to become spiritual. I do a lot of spiritual practice, but I don't really feel like I'm connected in the way that I want to. I know that there's somewhere that's beyond where I am, and I'm not quite sure how to get there. And what I love about spiritual and energetic work is that when we follow the path that our spirit lays out, that the universe has for us, the answers come. We don't have to know ahead of time what's going to happen. We just have to take action. And the action might be I meditate because then I'm connecting.
Mm-hmm.
And as I start to connect more, I might feel more deeply what comes up emotionally when I get into situations. And I might ask the questions, I seem to react in a way that was old when that situation came up, either with a friend or, with a partner especially. And I really want to respond differently. I didn't feel good. So this is our body and our brain, but really the way that we're seeing what's happening, how we see our experience, giving us clues of what to do. And what
Mm-hmm.
we love to do is use our CoreTalk Holistic Healing modality to be able to then step into the realm of what will change this situation, what will create more flow so that when I take action, I feel like I'm in the flow
Mm-hmm.
instead of like my toes are going to be chopped off if I go out of the comfort zone, right?
Ooh.
So we want to be in that position where we start to feel like, wow, spiritual growth is not just a thing that I practice, it's something that actually happens as I take action that moves me towards my dreams in life, in business, in
Mm-hmm.
relationships, in our
Mm-hmm.
health, so that we know the stuff that might be better for us and we start to do it.
Yeah. And so Greg was mentioning about the meditation. So there's a lot of things, a couple of things that we tell everyone that these steps are good practices to put in place in order to uh, help your spiritual growth come faster. And Greg mentioned meditation. We meditate once, at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. We've done that for
I think about 18 years now.
18 years or so.
Yeah.
It really helps you to work on quieting the mind. Mind still goes like a zillion miles an
That's what
hour.
those mantras are for,
Let me
right?
tell you, but the mantras, and you can do it. Don't think that just because you don't like to, sit still or, that it has never worked for you, perhaps. We have two different things, ways that we do it when we're having a hard time concentrating. One is meditation. So when we wake up, the first thing that we do when we wake up is put on a mantra meditation and lie in bed and do our mantra meditation every single morning. It's very comfortable, it's easy, you don't have to get up. Our house gets really cold sometimes. And so it's an easier way to get that meditation in. And the second thing that we do on a regular basis is using conscious breathing. And you've seen me taking some breaths as we've been going through, and I held my breath a lot and had very, very shallow breathing all through my youth and through my, 20s and 30s until I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not breathing very much.
Any of you breath holders?
Anybody or really light or shallow breathers, right? It's an important awareness to have about how is your breathing, because your breathing is so important for not just the physiology of your body, right? Your body needs oxygen to carry out muscle movement, digestion, all sorts of heart uh, functions, all kinds of functions need oxygen.
I always tell people when we're teaching class, I used to teach massage class, and I'd always ask the students, "What's the most important thing that we do?" And I'd get all kinds of questions, and I'd finally have to go. They'd go, "Oh,
Oh, yeah,
breathing." So
breathing.
it's the one thing that if we don't do, that we don't continue.
Right? And so that's all about the physiological basis of it. But really, for us and our spiritual growth, one of the things with that conscious breathing is that it's central channel breathing. And that central channel, which is also where your chakras are, because we use the chakras and the meridians as this beautiful innate healing system. This is who we talk to a lot in our body to find out where that congestion is. We talk to the chakras and the meridians. The chakras are on this central channel. And when you do central channel breathing, you breathe in the air. This is one way you can do it, right? You breathe in from the top of your head all the way down through your chakras,
Ooh, I can feel it.
breathing out, out of your toes into the beautiful earth that needs all of this energy, this rejuvenation. And then we breathe in this beautiful earthly energy, earthly insight, earthly knowledge, and core strength. We breathe that all in, bring it up through our bodies in the central channel, and allow it to go up into that divine space where then we take in that divine wisdom, those divine downloads, that spiritual knowing that comes to live in your body through this beautiful breath. And this is a cycle, the conscious breathing, central channel breathing, that brings us divine light, earthly energy, the all of the things that are the carriers for spiritual growth.
And our bodies are designed to connect in this way. We have our upper chakras that come, out of the top, connecting to the divine. We have our lower chakras, our main one, our root chakra, and it has like an energetic tail that goes into the earth. So it's this connection where we're bringing energy up from the earth, connecting with the divine, bringing the information down. And what's amazing about this cascade is this is our energetic connection, but then we have an emotional context that's running the rest of our body, that's connecting with our organs, that's connecting with our muscles, and then connecting with our emotions in the experience. And that's with the meridians
Yeah.
and connected specifically with organs. For example, the stomach, uh, meridian connects with the stomach organ, and it's energizing the stomach organ as we're bringing this stomach meridian energy in, which also is all about nurturing and the emotional context of being able to do what's best for you in the moment.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's how well, first of all, that's all about the meditation and then the conscious breathing. And then, our third leg on the tripod is really about using CoreTalk Holistic Healing to talk to your body in order for you to let your body identify what experiences from the past need to be healed in order to say get the outcome that you want, whether you want the healing of a chronic issue, or you want to get rid of procrastination, or if you want to quiet the fear or anxiety that is always running in the background. And so, just so you can see a little demo of what we do, there's another part I want to talk about before we wind up. But what we do is, yes, we teach people how to use the um, pendulum. But Greg and I have been working together for so long. We started out, and we'll have someone's energetic field right here,
So
say,
imagine that my arm is the pendulum and it's
yeah,
connected to your spirit. It's
yeah.
connected to your energetic flow in your body.
So it's like his arm is channeling your energy or whoever's energy we have with us. And we ask our 4 questions. Are you here? Are you all alone? Your field? Is it okay to talk? And are you your specific age? And then we'll say, well, body, do you know what you want to work on? It says yes. And I think we're feeling something out here of someone who's going to be here.
Oh,
And are they, do they have imposter syndrome?
yeah.
Yeah, and body, do you know when that came from for this person? Yeah. Was that somewhere earlier in life? Was that before 10? Was that before 5? At 5, at 6, 7, 8, 9, 6. And then since we don't have that person here that I'm feeling, I'm not sure who that is, say, did something happen at school? Yeah, or at home? No, at school. Did something happen with a homework assignment? Yes. And it didn't turn out well. Yeah, and was that really scary? And you were like, "Oh my God, I have to always be right. I have to, ugh." Did that catch in your bladder meridian? Yes. Can we clear that bladder meridian? Yes.
Okay.
And what we're going to talk like right after this is, are there energy going out or coming in? Yes. Is that from your teacher, from your parents? Were your parents very judgmental about and kind of perfectionist? Yes. Can we take that energy out? We're going to take all that energy out of the chakras.
Yeah. This is kind of the manipulation that people do. You know how it is when people want you to do better. They wish that you do things their way, or they wish that you wouldn't say things in a certain way that you'd think more like they do.
And psychic manipulations. We deal with those a lot. Are all those cores out? Yeah. Can we run bladder meridian?
And it's a lot of times it's that energy from other people that will keep the flow from happening in your body. So you'll go and do an energy clearing, and it just isn't as effective as you'd like it to be. And we find that when we work with getting other people's manipulative energy out of the energetic field, the body says, yeah, this is great. Now I can flow, not a problem. So we just did bladder and kidney. which really allows the
Meridians.
meridians, really allows the body to let go of the fight and flight mode, go back into homeostasis, can start to regulate the blood pressure properly, start to digest food well. It's like
Mhm.
having a complete reset where now you get to see the experience that you're in a different way. You stop having that feeling that this looks like something that's dangerous or that's happened in the past. And you start to see things more from a perspective of this is what's happening now.
Yeah, so does that feel that way, energetic body? Yeah. Is there another meridian you want to? Oh, is that what you need? So now, are you going to be able to have more courage to step out of your comfort zone? Are you going to have more of that feeling that you can take baby steps to get the where you want to be, even if you make a mistake? Yeah. Is there anything else you want to do right now? Does this feel complete? Oh my goodness. Well, whoever that person was that volunteered to do that, I so appreciate you. Whose ever spirit might have that imposter syndrome, take that in. And I hope you cleared that through your body, your spirit, anyone out there watching this, feeling this later. And I wanted to touch on a little bit more about the psychic manipulations.
Okay. So it's an area where people don't always ask questions about what would keep you from being able to move forward because they aren't actually talking out loud to the body. So is one of the things that's so different about the work that we do with CoreTalk is that we actually get to communicate directly. So you saw we were talking, and talking is a way to engage all the senses. And when we do that, the body, in this deep, innate healing ability that it has, is able to say, you know, in that experience that you had over time, you've made strategies, and those strategies have actually, they've attracted energy from other people that's sticky. And
We
it's not
call
that
it
it's
sticky energy.
and it's not your fault. It's just what happens because you want to avoid that situation. But other people, their strategy might be, I want to make sure that I take care of them, or I want to make sure that they don't do something dangerous, or I don't think they're thinking the right thing, and I want them to think what I'm thinking. And when that
Or
and
even, I want to control them because that's what I do. I like to control people because I want something from them.
and I get the output that I want. I get the result that I want.
Yeah.
So it's that energy that can really keep the body from being able to be in the flow.
Yeah.
So it's an area where we always ask before we do the clearings and the meridians and the chakras, we always ask, is there somebody else's energy in here that's going to keep this from being able to be in the flow?
Yeah. And really looking at, we talked about cords here, and those are energetic kind of place markers that can be placed into our bodies from other people, but we can also place them in other people's. And we want to bring that. In fact, that's what we're going to do right next is a little exercise bringing your energy back. But before that, one of the important things is that you have cords and shrouds, you have other energetic manipulations that can happen from other people, and they are so important to remove from your body. So we actually do a lot of work and asking the body about other people's energy. And that was Greg's problem when he got so sick. He had a lot of somebody else's energy in his body who was sick. And so that all had to be taken up and taken out and updated his energetic field to get him so he was no longer ill. So what we love, the outcomes and that spiritual, the energetic setting that so enables spiritual growth is being full of yourself.
Mm.
And what we mean by that is that you have gotten rid of everybody else's energy, at least the majority of it,
The manipulative
the
energy.
manipulative
Love is
energy.
good.
Love is
love and the
awesome.
connections that we have,
Right.
heart to heart, with people that we love to think and talk
Hmm.
with, and the power that we have in many of our relationships with people when we can bring something together and really get a result. But we're talking about the manipulative energy.
Yeah. And that's what we make sure to take all that out with these cords or shrouds or other, sacred, vows or whatever it is. Get all of that out. And when you do that, your own beautiful genius, your innate, gorgeous energy rises to fill you up so that all of a sudden your beautiful self is shining out from your eyes, filling all of your energy. And that's what other people see and feel and are attracted to. Or sometimes they're like, oh, that person is too spiritual for me, or whatever. We don't need to attract everyone, right? We only want to attract the people that are perfect for us. And that being full of yourself enables you to grow more spiritually, be more full spiritually for your own greatest good.
Do we have an exercise
Yeah,
where they can begin that process? Because a lot of times it's something that we haven't done in the past. In
right.
fact, people even have told us, don't be so full of yourself. And that is it's something that people will carry and think, yeah, I don't really want to show too much of how full I
Because
am,
I'm a little
how
weird, or
great I am, how weird I am, or
I'm a
how
little
unique I
loud, or I'm
am.
a little quiet.
Right.
But we
But
actually have a book coming out at the end of the year or the beginning of next year called Be Full of Yourself. And this concept is so important. So, this little exercise that we want to do right now is all about bringing your energy back from wherever you might have put it out in order to try and either stay safe or to make a certain outcome happen. So, the beginning of the exercise is to put your hands out in front of you. Take a breath, beautiful breath. Put your hands out and say, Universe, God, all that is, please bring my energy back to me from across time and place, across situation and personality. Bring all of my energy back to me. You may feel tingling in your hands or a fullness or nothing, but just bring that energy back to yourself.
and
Ah,
it's really about taking action, initiating a change from where you were to where you want to be, and then being that in the moment,
and we
being,
love to go ahead, sorry.
being that fullness,
Yes,
really being able to have the expression of you here right now.
yeah. And we love to bring that energy back into your chakras. Give yourself a hug
Hmm.
and bring it back into your entire body. Our CoreTalk Holistic Healing is a somatic therapy, whole body therapy that utilizes every part of your body. So then we make sure to bring that beautiful energy back in to enable and fill your entire energetic presence. Hey, Katya.
Hey, that was so beautiful, and I'm so glad it's recorded. So now we can go back again and again to just feel ourselves because I just love the exercise that you just did. I was doing it as well on the background and really felt so good. So I invite everyone to doing it again, and you can go the next day again because
Yes.
sometimes we forget. So
Yeah,
Yes.
we tell our people, and we do this personally every day, at least once a day, especially in trying times, right? We're like, oh, reading the news feed, oh, let me bring my energy back.
so powerful and so needed. And I also know you have a gift for people who want to just dive even deeper. I think we dived already deep, but there is even more. So, can you share a little bit about your gift?
Yeah, well, we love to have people gather and to do this, and we do this live. It's called the CoreTalk Rapid Relief Healing Session. And it's a very simple free session that we do. People come on, we talk about Core Talk, we do some healing.
On some one or two people.
Yeah, everyone who's there gets the effect of the healing, and you get to really have that experience of what's it like to connect with my body, where we can talk about what's going on, where we can get the answers to questions that I've had my whole life, and to be able to connect in a way that's so simple but so powerful that we feel like we can move forward easily and
Mhm.
in the flow.
Oh, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because that is powerful. I just want to say, check the show notes, sign up for those sessions. It's such a beautiful gift and service you are giving to the world. And just want to thank you for this session and all that you do in the world. You are making this world even better place.
Thank you,
Thank you
Katja.
so much,
Katja.
Katya, for everything you do and this beautiful summit, bringing all of these beautiful souls together.
Thank you. And thank you for tuning in. It has been pleasure to have you here. Share your biggest takeaway in the comments, and you can also share this video with someone who needs it. So if you feel called to just do it and share it, because we want to spread this work, and reach out to Antonia and Craig, check the show note. And I thank you, and I'm sending you so much light and love. Stay tuned for more.